Okay, I was a 16-year-old girl. I was in the Church of God in Houston, and I had boyfriends, and I had lots of friends there. And your papa had a sister that lived in Houston, and he would come to the Houston church and bring his nieces and nephews to church with him. And one day, one Sunday, he was there, and the head of the churches in Texas was also there, and he said, "This young man is not married, girls. You need to get hold of him. He needs a wife." And he introduced him as Cecil Miller. And I shook hands with him. I didn't realize I was doing anything wrong or anything different, but I shook hands with him. And after that, he would come to Houston, to the Houston church, and he said I always looked like I had a boy with me. I was with a boy or something. And I was 16 years old, and then I was 17, and we had a place that we went to that was called the Church of God Camp Meeting in Weatherford, Texas. And I went with a family from the Houston church, and your papa was there, and he asked me if he could take me to dinner. That's how we met.
Where'd y'all go?
We went to the Parker Hotel restaurant.
Oh.
No, restaurant. And and he said, "Anything on the menu that you want." I remember that. And everybody around a lot of people around from the Tyler Church, and they were saying, "Oh, listen to him, anything you want." Teasing him. And then after that, actually I didn't know his name. I did not know I knew who he was, but I couldn't remember his name. And then he would come to Houston, and he would ask if he could take me out, and we dated. Then we got to talking on the telephone, and we talked on the phone every night or so. And one night he came to Houston. He always stayed real late when he came, and he came the next day. He would drive home that night, on Sunday night, and he went to work, and he always had an amplifier for his guitar. And he went to work, he picked up his amplifier and started off to the house to paint, because he thought he had his what he called paint gear. But he didn't have the paint gear, and Uncle Maynard, that was your daddy's uncle, said, "Where are you going with that?" And it was his amplifier to his guitar, because he was so tired. And then we got married. We decided to get married.
How old were you then?
I was 17. I would turn 18 that Christmas. And so when I turned 18, we got married on the 21st of January, 1961. And the guys and the girls from the Tyler Church had told him they were going to kidnap me, and they got your Aunt Beverly to help them.
That was from the Church of God Tyler Church.
Yes, the Church of God Tyler Church. And they got your Aunt Beverly to help them. And she took me back to her house so I could get changed out of my wedding dress. And she kept saying I've lost my car keys, and just making excuses. But the people got lost. They couldn't. And your papa found me before they got to me. And so.
Why'd they want to kidnap you?
They were just playing. It was just going to be a joke. And then we went to Dallas for one night, and then we came back to Tyler, and we lived with your great granny and your great granddaddy for a little while, and I was sitting with your granny, your great granny Miller, and she said, "Well, you know, you're not the one I wanted to have for him to marry. I wanted Naomi Albert. She was my dream daughter-in-law." I'd been married about 3 weeks when she said that. Really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
But then we moved into a little house, a little trailer. No, it wasn't a trailer. It was a little apartment that was at the back of a house where they had apartments, and you had to go around the back and up the stairs. And we had a room. We had a bedroom and a living room with a little bitty tiny area to cook. Not even big enough to stand in, hardly. And we shared a bathroom with the people in the apartment next door.
Funny.
And out my window was where the football players practiced. John Tyler football players practiced just right down below our apartment. And that was on Woldert Street, Woldert Street in Tyler. And she never did tell me she was glad I was her daughter-in-law. She always wanted Naomi Albert to be her daughter-in-law.
I wonder if Naomi's still alive.
She is.
Well, you know her?
Yeah. I knew her then. We ran around with her. I mean,
That was really good.
huh?
So that was it. So now I can...
Stop it.